The 5 a.m. Power Hour. Winners own the morning. It's 5 a.m. Henry, a 29-year-old marketing director, doesn't hit snooze like most people. Instead, he does something that separates him from 95% of the population. He gets up immediately and claims the first hour of his day before the world can interrupt him. Why? Because winners understand that the morning sets the tone for everything. While losers are still in bed, making excuses about being not a morning person, Henry is already 3 steps ahead. Studies show that 90% of executives wake up before 6 a.m. It's not about being superhuman. It's about understanding that success requires sacrifice, and the easiest sacrifice is sleep you don't actually need. By 6 a.m., Henry has already won the day. Strategic thinking time. Planning while others panic. At 9 a.m., when most people are frantically checking emails, Henry closes his laptop and does something weird. He sits in complete silence for 20 minutes with just a notebook and pen. No distractions, no multitasking. He's strategically thinking about his next moves. Here's what separates winners from losers. Winners think strategically, losers think reactively. While average people spend their day responding to other people's priorities, Henry spends 20 minutes every morning designing his own. Neuroscience shows that strategic thinking activates the prefrontal cortex, the same brain region that controls executive decision-making. CEOs like Jeff Bezos and Warren Buffett block out hours just for thinking. Henry's 20 minutes of strategic silence creates more value than most people create in entire days. The network investment, relationships over transactions. Around 6:30 p.m., instead of rushing home to collapse on the couch, Henry does something most people avoid. He invests in relationships. Sometimes it's grabbing coffee with a colleague, sometimes it's checking in on a mentor, but it's never transactional. He's playing the long game. Winners understand that success is a team sport. Losers think they can do everything alone. Every meaningful opportunity Henry has received came through relationships. Harvard Business School research shows that 85% of career success comes from well-developed social skills and networking. While others are binge-watching Netflix, Henry is building the relationships that will define his next decade. Connection compounds just like money, but most people treat it like a cost instead of an investment. Phone-free morning ritual. Attention as currency. Back to the morning routine. Before Henry even touches his phone, he does something that would terrify most people. He spends the first 90 minutes of his day completely disconnected from the digital world. No notifications, no social media, no news. Just deep, focused work on his most important project. Winners guard their attention like Fort Knox. Losers give it away for free. Every notification is a small theft of mental energy, and most people are getting robbed blind. Research from the University of California shows it takes 23 minutes to regain deep focus after a distraction. By the time average people stop reacting to their phones, Henry has already completed his most valuable work. Your phone doesn't control you unless you let it. Energy management. Fuel for performance. At noon, Henry eats, but not like most people. While losers grab whatever's convenient and eat while scrolling their phones, Henry treats his meal like a strategic refueling session. Brain-boosting foods, wild salmon, blueberries, and yes, dark chocolate. But more importantly, he eats in complete silence, fully present. Here's what winners know that losers don't. Your brain is only as good as the fuel you give it. Multitasking while eating destroys digestion, spikes cortisol, and makes your brain work harder for less energy. Studies show that mindful eating increases nutrient absorption by up to 30%. While others are unconsciously shoveling food while doom scrolling, Henry is optimizing his cognitive performance for the afternoon. Food isn't just calories, it's brain fuel. The afternoon reset, recovery over grinding. Between 2 and 3 p.m., when his energy naturally dips, Henry doesn't push through like most people. He does something counterintuitive. He takes a 20-minute power nap or meditation break. No guilt, no apologies. He's recharging his mental battery. Winners understand energy management. Losers think grinding equals productivity. While average people are forcing themselves through mental fog, Henry is strategically recovering. NASA research shows that a short nap improves performance by 34% and alertness by 100%. The most successful people treat recovery as a competitive advantage, not a weakness. Rest isn't lazy, it's strategic. Difficult conversations, confronting problems. Around 4 p.m., Henry does something that makes most people uncomfortable. When there's a difficult conversation to be had with a team member or client, he has it immediately instead of putting it off. Direct and respectful, but firm. No sugarcoating, no procrastination. Winners run toward problems. Losers run away from them. Every day you avoid a difficult conversation, that problem grows bigger and more expensive. Research shows that avoiding conflict in the workplace costs companies an average of 8 hours per person per week in lost productivity. While others are gossiping, complaining, or hoping problems solve themselves, Henry addresses issues head-on. Problems don't age well. Get them off your plate ASAP. Curiosity pays, growing while others stagnate. At 7 p.m., instead of mindlessly watching TV, Henry does something most people stopped doing after college. He learns something new. Not necessarily related to work, just something that expands his mind. Maybe he watches a documentary, reads a book, or learns a skill. Here's the brutal truth. Winners never stop learning. Losers think they already know enough. The half-life of skills is getting shorter every year. What you knew 5 years ago is already outdated. CEOs read an average of 60 books per year while the average American reads only one. Curiosity isn't just nice to have. It's a survival skill. While others' minds are slowly rotting away, Henry's brain is growing new neural pathways daily. Physical discipline. Building the foundation. Twice a week, Henry walks into the gym not to look good but to build something deeper. Mental resilience. He lifts heavy weights, pushes through discomfort, and trains his brain to persist when things get hard. It's not about pure bodybuilding, it's about discipline. Winners understand that physical discipline creates mental discipline. Every rep you complete when you want to quit teaches your brain that you can push through resistance in all areas of life. Studies show that resistance training increases BDNF, a protein that literally grows your brain. While losers are avoiding discomfort, Henry is actively seeking it. Comfort is the enemy of growth. Evening planning. Tomorrow's strategy. At 9 p.m., while most people are winding down mindlessly, Henry opens his planner and does something that separates him from the crowd. He plans tomorrow in detail. Not just tasks, but priorities and potential obstacles. He's designing success before it happens. Winners plan their days. Losers hope their days work out. Research from Harvard shows that people who write down their goals are 42% more likely to achieve them. While others wake up tomorrow and react to whatever comes their way, Henry already knows exactly what to do. Success isn't accidental. It's designed. The mentor check-in. Seeking wisdom. Every Tuesday at 8 a.m., Henry does something that makes him uncomfortable but invaluable. He calls someone more successful than him and asks for advice. He swallows his ego and becomes a student. Losers think they can figure everything out alone, but the most successful people in history had guides, teachers, and advisors. Think about Alexander the Great. His mentor was Aristotle, and Aristotle had Plato. While others are protecting their pride, Henry is collecting wisdom. Mentorship can compress decades of learning into months. Strategic disconnection. Deep work over shallow busyness. During his most important work block at 10 a.m., Henry does something radical in our always connected world. He puts his phone in airplane mode, closes his email, and works on one thing with laser focus for 90 minutes. No exceptions, no emergencies. Winners create deep work, while losers create busy work. Cal Newport's research shows that the ability to focus without distraction is becoming the most valuable skill in our economy. While others are constantly switching between tasks, checking notifications, and producing mediocre work, Henry creates exceptional results. Deep work isn't just more productive, it's the only work that matters. The Vision Review. Long-term thinking. Every morning, Henry glances at something taped above his monitor. One sentence. Where he wants to be in 5 years. Not just career goals, but the person he wants to become. It's his North Star, keeping him focused on what actually matters when distractions try to pull him off course. Winners think in decades. Losers think in days. While others are chasing short-term wins, instant gratification, and quick fixes, Henry is building his empire. Research shows that people with long-term vision make better decisions, save more money, and achieve greater success. Your daily actions either move you toward your vision or away from it. There's no neutral. Weekend preparation. Winners prepare, losers wing it. Friday at 5 p.m., when everyone else is celebrating the end of the work week, Henry spends 30 minutes preparing for Monday. He reviews the upcoming week, identifies priorities, and sets himself up for success. While others will spend Sunday night anxious about Monday morning, Henry is already 3 steps ahead. Preparation separates professionals from amateurs. Winners use weekends strategically. Research shows that people who plan their weekends are 23% more likely to feel fulfilled and energized on Monday. While others are recovering from weekend chaos, Henry is launching into his week with clarity and momentum. Uncomfortable action. Growth through discomfort. At 11 a.m., Henry does something most people would avoid. If there's something on his to-do list that makes him uncomfortable, a difficult phone call, a challenging presentation, or a tough decision, he does it first. No procrastination and no excuses. He eats the frog. Winners run toward discomfort. Losers avoid it until it becomes a crisis. Your biggest breakthroughs live on the other side of your biggest fears. While others are doing easy, comfortable tasks that don't move the needle, Henry is tackling the hard stuff that creates real results. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's action in spite of fear. The reflection practice. Learning from mistakes. Every evening at 8:30 p.m., Henry opens his journal and asks himself 3 questions. What went well today? What could I improve? What did I learn? No judgment, just honest reflection. He's treating his life like a laboratory, constantly optimizing and improving. Winners reflect. Losers repeat the same mistakes over and over. Without reflection, experience is just repetition. Socrates said the unexamined life is not worth living. While others are mindlessly moving from day to day, Henry is extracting lessons from every experience. Growth requires self-awareness, and self-awareness requires reflection. Sleep optimization. Recovery for winners. By 10:30 p.m., Henry is winding down with a purpose. No screens, no stimulation, just a book and dim lights. He treats sleep like a performance enhancer, not a waste of time. 7 to 8 hours, non-negotiable, because he knows his brain literally grows while he sleeps. Winners prioritize sleep. Losers sacrifice it for Netflix. During sleep, your brain consolidates memories, clears toxins, and builds new neural connections. Skip on sleep, and all the optimization you did during the day gets erased. While others are burning out, Henry is recovering and growing stronger. Rest isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Kaizen, the competitive advantage. Every Sunday at 6 p.m., Henry does something most people never do. He reviews his habits, measures his progress, and makes small adjustments for the coming week. He treats himself like a high-performance athlete, constantly optimizing for better results. Winners improve, losers plateau. The Japanese have a concept called kaizen, continuous improvement. While others are satisfied with good enough, Henry is always asking, how can this be better? Small improvements compound over time into massive advantages. The gap between winners and losers isn't talent. It's the commitment to never stop growing. The boredom protocol, using dead time productively. At 2:45 p.m., stuck in a waiting room with 15 minutes to kill, Henry doesn't automatically reach for his phone like everyone else. Instead, he uses the time to think deeply about one business challenge, review his goals, or practice a presentation in his head. He's turned boredom into a productivity tool. Winners see waiting time as thinking time. Losers see it as phone time. The average person spends 2 to 3 hours per day in transition, meaning commuting, waiting, or walking. While others mindlessly scroll, Henry uses this time for deep thinking, mental rehearsal, and strategic planning. Those small pockets of time add up to hundreds of hours per year. Boredom isn't empty space. It's prime real estate for your brain. The advantage inventory. Knowing your unfair advantages. At 4:30 p.m., instead of scrolling social media during his break, Henry does something more strategic. He writes down 3 advantages he has that others don't. His network in the tech industry, his ability to explain complex things simply, and his early morning energy. But here's the key. He focuses 80% of his effort on the 20% of advantages that create the most impact. Winners know their strengths and double down on them using the 80-20 rule. Losers spread themselves thin, trying to be good at everything. Your unfair advantages aren't just skills. They're your network, energy patterns, unique experiences, and thinking style. While others try to be well-rounded, Henry becomes exceptional by identifying which 20% of his strengths drive 80% of his results, then ruthlessly doubling down on those. Don't fix what's broken. Amplify what's already working at scale. The context switch, changing environments. At 11 a.m., when Henry needs to work on creative strategy, he doesn't stay at his desk like most people. He moves to the coffee shop down the street. When he needs to make difficult decisions, he goes for a walk. When he needs to focus deeply, he works from the library. He's deliberately changing contexts to change his thinking. Winners understand that environment shapes cognition. Losers try to force the same thinking in the same space, but different types of work require different environments. While others wonder why they're stuck or uninspired, Henry uses physical space to unlock mental space. Your environment isn't just where you work, it's how you think. Change your space, change your mind. That's it. If you recognize yourself doing any of these loser habits, don't worry. You can change starting tomorrow. And if you found this helpful, give it a like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.